Hello humans, Master Dinnerflax here, bringing you the low quality content you deserve, and today I'm going to be going over Live Twins. Now, this is something I wanted to show off, because every time I watch a live twin replay or someone play the deck, or even demonstrations, something is very off, and I noticed this as well. Normally, when you activate the cards that summon the other from the deck, these get hand trapped, which is wrong, by the way. If you're wanting to hand trap this deck, you do not hand trap this card. Outside of Ash, that's just because Ash has no other utility against this deck. But what happens, and I've noticed this a lot, is if this actually resolves, if your opponent, if this actually resolves and it summons Lilla, no matter how many other extenders you have in hand, like Sunny Snitch to search one of the special summons, it doesn't change anything, because the way people play this is they just funnel into the Link 4, making all the extenders in your hand completely irrelevant. Which I feel that doesn't actually make any sense. Because if you have these extenders, but it doesn't change the outcome of what happens, then these are not extenders. They're effectively just half-assed Called by the Graves and cross-out designators. That's not what you want from these cards, because at least cross-out designator and Called by are actual disruptions if your combo goes through. These don't do anything if you don't use them. And that's why I decided to just come up with a combo of what happens when this resolves, but you also have an extender, let's say, Frost. And the answer is actually something we were doing a year ago. And the answer is we're going to make two Link 1s out of these Cyberse monsters, which are going to be Link Disciple and Link Devotee. Now, sure, you might be thinking, oh man, that's too many slots in your extra deck. No, it isn't. This extra deck, outside of 3 Trouble Sunny and 4 or 5 more of the small twins, literally the rest of it is subjective. So that's irrelevant. Plenty of these cards could actually just go into Zeus. You don't need that many extra deck slots, but you can't play Prosperity or Extrav either, so you actually have to find good uses for your extra deck. And this is one of them. So activate Link Disciple. You're going to tribute this, draw 1 card, and put a card back in our deck. And then the Devotee is going to activate to summon 2 tokens. We're going to link these 2 tokens into IP Masquerena. Now, you might be thinking, oh, we can just go to the Link 4 from here. But the answer is no, because Link Devotee prevents us from summoning any Link monsters above Link 2. So we're going to summon Kissy to summon back small Lilla, and then the Lilla and Kissy will turn into Link Lilla, obviously, and then the Link Lilla will revive the Kissy, and we'll get another draw. So this is your end board instead of just the Link 4. Now, why is this better than just going into the Link 4 and doing nothing else? Well, first off, the answer is the Link 4 is only one thing. It is a Lilla pop and a draw. And that is, that's all it can be. But this can be other things. First off, it can just be it can just be a Link 4, because on your opponent's turn, you can IP Link the Lilla and the Masquerena into Trouble Sunny, and this is very nice, because one of the issues that this deck faces is that it's really, really weak to Lightning Storm on the monsters. But with this IP line, you just make Trouble Sunny, it's indestructible, so the Lilla goes away, and the Trouble Sunny's totally fine. So you still have the full play line right there. But in addition, the IP can be Firewall Dragon, it can be Nightmare Unicorn, or Nightmare Griffin. all of which are kind of insane. Because what you do with Griffin, you put it right here, discard, draw up to set back a trap, and then the Kissy will revive a Lilla to pop. The Unicorn spins a card, and then the Kissy will still be able to revive the Lilla, so you spin and pop and get a draw out of it. And then Firewall Dragon is really interesting because you summon it, and then you activate Kissy, summon Lilla, pop a card, and now, not only did you get a pop, but you have 2 Firewall bounces because it's double co-linked. So you can, like, bounce 2 of their monsters, or you can bounce one of their monsters and recycle a hand trap. And if it's like Valor, Skullmeister, DD Crow, that's not once per turn, that's very hilarious. But that's not what I want to go into. I want to go into what happens if you actually go into Trouble Sunny. And Trouble Sunny right here is better than just Trouble Sunny alone, because we have an extra monster. And this extra monster can activate to summon another extra monster. Now, this is interesting. What is it with this field that I find so good? And that is simply that since this is an anti-meta deck, the point of it is you like control or stun your opponent out with like hand traps and traps for a turn, and then you go for game next turn. But the problem is, every time you try to go to the Sunny Loop and just funnel into it, even when you have extenders, the damage you put out is 55 the next turn. So you actually have to make it to turn 5. But with this, the next turn you just win. And I'll show you. Because after you like hand trap your opponent to sleep, you activate your traps, you activate your stuff, or you're forced to just finally use Trouble Sunny, we will activate it to revive Lilla Link and Kissy non-Link. Because this doesn't have to revive Evil Twin monsters, it just has to be one Kissy and or one Lilla or both. So we will revive Lilla to pop a card, and then the Kissy will also come back. So now we have 4 monsters on board, 2 of which are Link 2s. So on our next turn, we will draw a card, and we're just ignoring all the things. We'll just assume it's random nonsense. And we will make Firewall Dragon. And we will activate Kissy to revive Lilla to pop a card. But we can do this beforehand. We can activate Trouble Sunny, go ahead and send a card on the field to the graveyard, and we can actually send the Kissy and Lilla. I actually despise this card. I actually don't think you should play it at all. But for this demonstration, I know a lot of people are playing this card. So I just wanted to show you you can do this. So you can send a card on the field to the graveyard. You can activate Kissy while you have Firewall to revive Lilla to pop another card. And now, since this Firewall Dragon is double co-linked, we can recycle back 2 monsters or bounce a monster, blah, 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 blah. Irrelevant. And we'll recycle back one of the bounces for Firewall Dragon, a normal summon. And then we will link these 2 into Nightmare Unicorn, and we will toss spin another card. So on our turn 3, we non-targeting, non-destruction sent a card with what's it called? And then in addition, we also popped a card with Lilla, spun a card with Unicorn. So we took 3 cards off our opponent's board. And because of this is why I actually hate this monster. It's because turn 3, your opponent's field should be gone. Like, you're Nightmare cycling. So why would you ever play this? 4,400 damage isn't shit. I don't need Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in my main deck. So we'll activate Lilla to revive Kissy. So we get a new draw. And then finally, we can go ahead and make Trouble Sunny. So on board, we have 33, 22. This right here is what the normal amount of damage you do is. But we also have 25. But honestly, Trouble Sunny is always 5,500 damage. So this is 55, 77 plus 25. Like, that's more than game. That's what I wanted to show off. Oh, and what's really funny is, since you're actually playing Cyberse in this deck, you can use Firewall to special summon from hand effect. I found that very funny. And you will probably do it sometimes if your hand's, like, super insane. But anyways, this is what I want to show off. whenever you're playing a deck like this, where you're just funneling in to one line of play, that's fine. But the problem is, if you're actually playing extenders like Kissy and Frost that are there to insulate your cycle, because as long, like, if any of these normal summons get hand trapped, you just summon an extender, which makes it irrelevant. And if a link gets stopped, you summon an extender to make it irrelevant. Like, that's cool. But if you actually just don't need that insulation, or you were able to have a previous insulation to it, these extenders actually need to have value past that. Because if they don't, these are not real cards. They're just called by the graves that don't even disrupt your opponent. They're just ways to prevent hand traps. But if you don't get hand trapped, or you have more of these extenders than your opponent has hand traps, then these cards don't actually have value unless you're going to use them. And what I showed right here is a way to use them. But yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. This deck's very cool, but I do think you should try to be more aggressive with this. You can't just Trouble Sunny, Trouble Sunny, Trouble Sunny and expect to get much of anywhere, because you should never give your opponent a turn 5 if you're playing a deck like this that's all about preventing your opponent from playing their first turn. You should never be trying to do that. But yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Dinnerflex will take your soul.